The Speaker recognizes the Honorable Chris Afendoulis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, fellow members, for your attentiveness. It's amazing. Fantastic. Friends, 4 years does pass by quickly, doesn't it? And as has happened to me over the course of my life, having a last name which begins with the letter A, I have the honor of leading off the numerous farewell speeches you will hear over the next 4 weeks. At the outset, I'd like to thank the residents of the 73rd District for granting me the privilege of representing them in this wonderful institution. It's been one of the great honors of my life, and I'll always cherish the confidence they placed in me. And to the residents of Grand Rapids Township, where I reside, I send a special thank you. I have represented them for the last 14 years in various elected offices, and I'm grateful for their support as well. You know, one of the great joys for me in my service was to bring school groups on the House floor and tell them about this wonderful chamber. But the one thing I always pointed out to them was that the clerk always says when bills are read in, the people of the state of Michigan enact. The people of the state of Michigan enact. It is an important statement which may pass without notice because we hear it so often, but it should never be forgotten by those of us who serve here. We are the people's representatives. We act on their behalf and only through their consent. In 2010, I sat up in the South Gallery with my daughter Sophia in her 4th grade class, and I leaned over to her and I pointed down to the House floor and I told her, one day, Daddy is going to work here. And she looked at me and said, really? And I said, yup. And it really has been a dream come true to serve in the legislature for the people of the state of Michigan. One of the things my late father taught me was to treat everyone with respect and to be yourself. And that is what I have endeavored to do in my time here in Lansing. I want to thank a number of people here today. Chief Sergeant Dixon and all the sergeants of the House. What a wonderful group of public servants who keep us safe and always seem so calm. Clerk Randall and Assistant Clerk Brown and their entire staff. What professionalism they exemplify every day when they bring order to chaos. And I want to specifically thank Alice and Stephanie, Molly, Eric, Dan, and Cheryl for their service to the state and to us. And to the IT staff who had to put up with me many times, especially Leanne and Jill, the fabulous sisters. And to the maintenance staff of the Capitol and the Hob, who so lovingly and beautifully maintain this living museum. To Doug Simon, Tim Boland, the entire House Business Office, a fantastic group of professionals. To the Speaker's staff and all our Republican policy staff, thank you so much. And to the indispensable, as an appropriations member, the indispensable House Fiscal Agency, led by Mary Ann Cleary and her current and former teammates, Jim Stansel, Kyle Jen, Bethany Wixel, Perry Zelak, and Kevin Korstra, among many others. I want to thank Speaker Leonard, as well as my appropriations chairs, Laura Cox and Al Pasholka, who I still refer to as Mr. Chairman, which he enjoys immensely, I might add. And a special thanks to former Speaker Cotter, who showed great confidence in a freshman legislator, asking me to chair the work group to eliminate old criminal laws and appointed me to serve on the Special Roads and Transportation Committee and as chair of the Medicaid Subcommittee of Appropriations. And in addition, when in a pinch, he asked me to serve on the Criminal Justice Committee for a short period of time in 2015 and 16. Many of you may remember the circumstances which precipitated this, but I'll go no further on that. This did afford me the opportunity to be on a policy committee and the unbelievable experience to serve on a committee with future Senator Peter Lucido and really see him in action. And what a sight that was. I have also enjoyed good relations with my friends on the other side of the aisle, especially Minority Leader Sam Singh, former Leader Tim Greimel. Many people think all we do here is fight, and I tell them that on most days the opposite is true. We all use our experiences to do what we think is best for our constituents and for our state. We all have interests, we all have families. Last year I was happy to help a young MBA student, Abdullah Hamoud, with his cost accounting project. I'm happy to report he received an outstanding grade, and he graciously gave me a bit of the credit for the help. And I still encourage Robert Wittenberg to widen his horizons and read the Wall Street Journal editorial page. And I always enjoyed spending time with Bob Kozlowski and now Mayor Andy Shore. I do want to assure all of you that Greek Independence Day will continue to be celebrated. My successor has assured me of this, and the baklava will be provided. To my seatmates, this term, Tim Kelly, one of the funniest and most knowledgeable people I've ever met. We had some great times and have developed a great friendship. And in the first term, Gary Glenn and Jeff Farrington. I must add that directly in front of us last term were Tony Forlini and Pete Lucido, also from Macomb County, as Jeff is. And I think Gary and I sometimes thought we were dropped into an episode of The Sopranos. It was amazing. Gary went through some tough times last term, and there were some emotional moments. But usually we spent time with him showing me clippings of the Midland Daily News chronicling his exploits at the Capitol. And we did share some great laughs over in that row and here in our section this term. You know, beyond enjoying a good laugh, those of you who know me best know I love to sing. And we had some spontaneous moments where Earl Pileski and Eric Lloydhäuser, Al Pasholka, and I would break into song. And we spent some long nights on the house floor, or singing Christmas carols in the rotunda accompanied by Ed McBroom. You know, I hesitate to name specific individuals, but I've developed a special and lifelong friendships and gone through the crucible with Rob Verheulen, Jason Shepard, Mike Weber, Mike McCready, and Daniela Garcia. But I hasten to add, I consider all of you my friends. And I think Yeats summed it up beautifully when he wrote, "Think where man's glory most begins and ends, and say, my glory was that I had such friends." You know, people sometimes ask why I'm generally so happy. Well, why not? To me, it's a choice. How do you view the glass? Half empty or half full? And so it is with government. Think of where we've come in the last 8 years. There's always more to do. There's always more to improve upon, but that's how life is. This has been a remarkable time to serve. First road funding increase in 17 years, paying down billions in long-term debt, a real legacy for our children. 95% of our citizens with health coverage, a new energy policy, pension reform. And so much of this was made possible by our Governor, Rick Snyder, who takes the slings and arrows with so much grace. Talk about positive and optimistic. It's been an honor to work and serve with him. A special thanks to my loyal staff. In the first term, Trevor Tenbrink and Alex Porrett. This term, Emily Rambo, and also special intern Aaron Johnston from my district. And to Ben Green, who's worked with me these 4 years, loyal and talented beyond measure. Thanks to all of them. And last, to my family. This business is not easy on family members. They hear things they never knew about us. Most of them are untrue, but they have to bear up through all of it. So I thank my daughters, Mari, Elena, and Sophia, for all their love and support and marching in all those parades. But most of all to my wife, Phyllis. At our house, we call her the dream maker because through her love and selflessness, she makes all our dreams come true. So when I chaired the Medicaid committee, a woman came to testify, and she began with a song. And I thought, do I gavel her down? And the answer, of course, was no. Just go with the flow. And it was a terrific moment. So how better for me than to close this way? I'm so glad we had this time together, just to have a laugh or sing a song. Seems we just get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.